We'll return. We'll be going to our main focus of the day. Can P2B of the Labour Party upstage the APC and the People's Democratic Party?
Nigeria, my Mr. President of the Trade Union Congress, distinguished senators, the chairman of the parties, other dignitaries, comrades, gentlemen of the press. Today was not designed for a long speech, but to tell our presidential candidate we received you. You can see where we are coming from, where we are dwelling. This is just an annex. Our office is in Lagos with our staff. Maybe when we get there, when we get to Lagos, you now see that yes, Trade Union Congress, we are championing the cause of the workers. And every worker is very conscious of the fact that they have been marginalized for over the years, and this is a time for jubilee, our liberation. And we have a man who understands the sagacity and dynamic of what it takes to be poor, what it takes to be marginalized, what it takes to be stingy. Because it takes a stingy man to know that stinginess is also good for a man that deserves to be stingy. Because without stingy, there's no development. If you don't economize your situation, how can you collect 30,000 minimum wage? As we are talking, some states don't even pay. And you cannot even get to bus stop with 30 minutes, and you have a responsibility and obligation in the family. Is that not sorrowful for Nigerian workers? Now Nigerian workers decided that our party must be strong. We don't just need to shop for a politician. We shop for a politician with credentials, a politician that knows his work, a politician that is deadline-lettered, a politician that has been tested and trusted. That is the reason we gathered suspending here. We are not saying other parties are not there. Yes, they are there. But we have only one party in Nigeria. And the rest is Labour Party and others. That is the confidence we have. And because we know, you can see the dynamism of the chairman of the Labour Party, a young, dynamic, vibrant. You look at his stature, and that is funny. I'm so confident that in this struggle we will overcome. Let me tell you, Nicholas Machiavelli said, politics is constant struggle for power. The end will justify the means. Nigerian workers have struggled enough. This is the end of the road, and it will justify the means. Solidarity!
Why I have to welcome.
We can no longer live in a country where our hard-working people are not paid. Those who have worked are not paid their gratuity and pension, and will allow one person to steal 80 or 100 billion. Enough to clear those debts. It cannot continue. It has to stop. And that's what we're doing. That's what we want to do. And we will do it for Nigeria. Amen. I'm contesting for the office of the President of Nigeria. Not for any section of Nigeria. And let nobody deceive you that is a problem. The poor people in the north are suffering. The poor people in the east are suffering. The poor people in the west are suffering. Our greatest asset is in the north. The vast land that we have must be turned into an agricultural production site. Cities in the north like Kanu will become a processing center, and Kaduna will go back to its textile production. This is not a promise. I'm happy what you said, that I'm the first presidential candidate to visit. That's what the NLC said. That's what you're saying. And I assure you.
All right, welcome back. Still Road to 2023 on SYMFONI, and the Trade Union Congress are saying they are throwing their weight behind P2B. Nigerian Labour Congress are also saying the same thing. And P2B is saying, I am not desperate to rule, and I am running for all Nigerians. I am not representing any section of Nigeria because poverty in the north is the same poverty in the south, in the west, and in the east. And as a matter of fact, I need to use the vast arable land in the north and turn them into an agricultural site. I don't know. These are some of the things that resonate with a number of Nigerians, especially the youth. There is a movement, whether you admit it or not, there is a movement across the length and breadth of the country. Even in the north, there is some people who are going door to door campaigning in some parts of the north for Peter Obi, because a lot of persons are beginning to realize that what is biting in the north is also biting in the south, in the west, and in the east. And they are beginning to think that maybe giving a free level playing field, there could be an upstage in 2023. And there are those who are equally dismissing him as a probably social media winner. And that is where, because right now on social media, the most popular presidential candidate is Peter Obi. I don't know what your thoughts are, Honorable. There are those who say he's just, if you like, paper tiger, social media president. I don't know why they think in that way, even when the signs are there that a lot of persons seem to buy into what he's saying, addressing people, and not just looking at individuals.
I think Peter B is a president whose time has come.
Mm.
And I say this with every amount of seriousness, in the sense that the situation as it is, one, Peter B is a very lucky person. He was a person that brought luck to Abga and made Abga to win a state. And I'm sure he's also going to transfer similar luck, the man of providence. He will transfer similar luck to Labour Party in order to also make sure that the Labour Party is of this country. Having said that, Peter is the person that will address our problem as of this material time. What is the problem we have? The problem we have in the country is basically economic. Whether you call it security, whether you call it unemployment, whether you call it anything, the underlying basic factor is that the economy is not well run. And the man that has not just the knowledge, the demeanor, the discipline, everything that it takes to make a good president, you find all of them in Peter. I say this because I know as a member of the House of Reps who happened to pay a visit to Anambra State Government House, it was unlike what we used to see in other government houses. Government houses, you see champagne, you see, but there we met a very modest, reception and outlook. So he is by now. If it were in other clients, there should have been a training institute modeled after P2B in such a way that all people who want to aspire to offices and people who are also going to occupy some offices will go and learn how people are meant to conduct themselves and how people are meant to behave when they are in office. Because and the good aspect of him is that he is natural. It is part of him. He's not feigning it. All these things you see him is just the who he is. It's not just that maybe somebody may just do it just for purposes of pleasing the public or do a public show. The same way he acts both in and out is just exactly the same, and that is who he is. And tomorrow, if he goes into wrong governance, that's the way. We have a protracted power problem in the country that looks like it's insurmountable. Help us address it. It's Peter. Today, we also have problem with our power. It looks like our refineries can no longer work, or that we can't have refineries. That's a situation where we have a lot of crude deposit, we export crude and import fuel, and at the end of the day, we'll go to filling stations and we'll pay a lot of. Who can solve that? It has defied the solution of all these people. It's Peter. In terms of right now, they're talking of people who have impeccable. You are looking for their certificates. The other people that are looking for their. But who has impeccable record? It's Peter Obi. Unemployment. Who has an idea as to how you can address it? All the other people see what he has done in Anambra State. I want to challenge 99 till date has handed over 70 something. Because as they're living, they are living with debts. Who had the discipline of having 78 billion and living? It has never happened. And nobody, the only person I'm sure that tried in that direction, Katsina State, the late Musa Yar'Adua. That was the only person that had such a discipline would have had if not for death, because he had a personal. What is it that Peter has a personal discipline? The president is not embezzling. The president is not misapplying. If the president is using a modest dressing, if the president is using a modest, will do all this. So in terms of as that's the time, in the words of the of Joseph, he said God has answered our prayers. We don't need to pray again about it. All we need to do is to now go out and vote for Peter. That's what he said. And our prayers have been answered. God has, from amongst us, bring somebody that will come and wipe away our tears. Because Nigeria is a country of paradox. With all the wealth we have, yet we are poor. With all the water in the country, we have the highest body of water around, still we can't give our people water. With all the crude we have, we can't get fuel. With all the water resources and gas deposits that we can use in generating electricity, we don't have power. So, and it's paradoxical. And the only missing link is just leadership. And that's why Nigerians, the youths, everybody are earnestly asking for Peter.
All right. Well, let me see whether Paul is still there. Paul, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. We are talking about the 2023 elections now, especially the presidential elections. And there are those who have described the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, as a political paperweight, or if you like, just a creation of the social media. What do you think?
Well, anybody that is thinking that will be doing that at his or her own risk. Peter Obi is a movement, and it's a reality. It's not even a social media thing. And where things in a normal country, Peter Obi is the people's choice. It's a no-brainer. He needs to be the president because he is the people's choice. But then it's a democracy, so an election they have to contest it. But again, he's the people's choice, so they don't need to question it. So it's not a social media thing. I want to agree in what your host said. The last thing he said, Nigeria is a rich country, but yet we are still poor. The problem of that is management. It's management. It's a management problem. Nigeria, where the politicians, they are used to misplaced priorities. They don't channel money where it needs to be channeled. They don't put money where it needs to be. You know, they don't use money to do what is meant to be done. But Peter, like your host said, your guest said, Peter has all those qualities. He has especially the quality of management. He will manage the Nigerian resources, Nigerian wealth very well. He will manage it very well. And when those wealth is being managed properly, you will see that the wealth of Nigeria, Nigeria will come out of poverty. Nigeria will come out of poverty. So Peter B is the people's choice, and I believe he will be the president. If what I said before, if the President Buhari will make sure that there is free and fair election, if he will hand over to the rightful winner, if he will make sure that INEC is not being compromised, Peter B will be the next president of Nigeria, and that will go well for Nigerians. Because, like I said before, Nigeria is gone. We just need a man that we salvage the situation. And Peter is the man. We don't need to pray again. God has already answered our prayer. We just need to support him.
Right.
So
thank you very much. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Still hang on until the end of the program. Let me take some messages that have poured in. Good luck, consult. Says, sir, with all due respect, our President Peter Obi is not already, you have already crowned him, made him president. Our President Peter Obi is not social media president. He is for the president of this country come 2023. It will be a shock to PDP and APC. And then Madraburo Chukwu Uche says Peter Obi is the best. Okay. And then we have Chris George for Nigeria to move forward and work again. That 1999 constitution must be nullified. Frederick Wanazia, Peter Obi all the way. All right, Frederick, thank you very much. And then Paul Iwunze. Good evening, Mr. Host. I'm obediently watching from the United States. Chris George, the issues Nigeria has today is 1999 constitution, right? And then Madwekwe Leonard, it is 1000% done deal because the Nigerians in poverty class now are 97% of the total Nigeria population in 7 years plus APC rule this country. Insecurity has escalated from northeast as at 1999 to 2019 to where we are today. Okay, let's see. And then Scribe Man Justice. Yes, get Kwakwansu and other minor parties that have power in the north. Madekwe Leonard, okay, I've taken that message before. All right, these are some of the messages that have poured in. You can also continue to send your chats. Then don't forget, you can also like, share, and subscribe to SYMFONI. And my guest has been Jeff Ojinika, former member of the House of Representatives. All right, Honorable somebody, former member, your colleague, Jubril Abumin, did say that P2B will come third. As a matter of fact, he will not win the presidential election. I don't know what I was saying. In an ideal situation, right now he is with the new Nigerian People's Party, that P2B will come third. This, I'm sure, is among those who are not enamored by the fact that the growing popularity of P2B should be scary in some quarters. But there are those who just dismiss him as, well, we've seen it before, not today, as we say in local parlance.
Well, for Jibrin, I watched that program on channels, and you saw what our other colleague also expressed about it, especially the frequency he had been changing from coordinating bad to enter Kwankwasi and all the rest of them. So he made his decision not to. But that is not to say that some other people are not making such insinuations, in the sense that they are basing it on the strength of the number of states that different parties are controlling, and that Labour Party for now does not control any state and all whatnot. But from the the movement that is coming up, and we still have a lot of time. 7 months is a lot of time in the history of to change a whole lot of things. I'm sure that the dynamics will change uh, from September, when this campaign takes off and people hit the road. That's the time they will now start feeling the movement, and they will no longer see it that is on in the papers, or just on the media. They will see it practical, because people, from the way immediately they finish this registration, people are coming out for to demonstrate their support for the campaign. And after the campaigns, they are going to come out to vote massively. And after voting, they're also coming out to watch their votes. And after that, they're also coming out to protect and see that the government also will do very well. These are steps that I think that this revolution is going to take. And in such a way that anybody that's elected this time will be accountable to the people. The time has gone when people use incident form to rig election. All those periods are over. The period has also gone when people will go and hijack our ballot boxes. That time is over. So this time we'll have to make sure that the person that wins the election is the proper person that should win the election, so that the vote of the people count. Once that is done and the rightful leaders emerge, and I'm sure the country will be a lot better for it. In terms of the structures, as our presidential candidate or presidential hopeful, or as some people have already started, Mr. P2B said the other day, the structures are already in existence. The structures are the poor people. Nigeria is the poverty capital. These are people that will be ready. The Amajiri is the people who are, have plates here and there. These people, you will even be sure that some of these are, when the time comes, some of these bandits may have to lay down their arms. Them, nobody enjoys that banditry, because that is the kind of job that you do. You make the money, you don't enjoy the money. The money that people who enjoy their money will make money and go to hotels or go to luxury places to go and enjoy the money. When you make money and you stay inside the bush, you hit rain will hit you. The rest cold weather and all the rest of them. They don't enjoy. So I'm sure if they see a system that can make them make better money and then enjoy quality life, they will embrace it. So the campaign will really separate the boys from the men, because when the campaign starts, people will come up with their policy. He has said clearly that he wants to change us from consumption to production. And that he has already drawn a critical pathway where it will be possible to do that. You can imagine, before 1999, we had about 106 something textile mills. As of now, less than 12 to 18 are working. And those ones working are working below 40% capacity. So you can imagine, in those days, the people who were rich in Kaduna were people who were working in textile mills. So you can imagine if those textile mills have worked with by that time. By now, we should have had up to 500 textile mills or up to 1,000 textile mills in Kaduna. And we should have been exporting all the textile materials all over the globe. And it will have a cycle in terms of production, because you need to farm the cotton to be able to. So, so how do you create the people who are working in this market then were very well. They never had time to go and help, but now people are jobless. They not think of what else to do. So the structures will be really activated. The only thing that I say whether it's an advantage or the disadvantage is because of this time frame. Their calculation is that's why I'm talking to the Nigerian youth. They are just saying that let's just allow them. They will lose steam, and the moment they lose steam, they can take over. So it's the only way out of it to sustain this tempo. If this tempo is sustained in the till the 7 months, I think Peter is already counts president. If you do election today the way it is, he will win. But the only thing is they are capitalizing because these people have come. The people that used to dominate the media space, they can't even find a space there. They can't find the space to even come in. Any small space, they are blocked. Any small space, they are blocked. So what they are waiting for, their strategy now is to go back and see, let's allow this, give them some 2 3 months. They are useless, that they will burn up themselves, and then maybe we'll now take over. So is to encourage the Nigerian youth the sustainability of this tempo. If it's sustained for 7 months, I can tell you that P2B has already won the election. Because in every family, the way what people don't know, the governor of Edo State made it was like a revelation. He said, these people are not campaigning. In every home that they are telling their parents, please, we are obedient. In a family of a strong APC family of father and mother, and they have like 6 children, and all the 6 children are obedient, leaving the father and the mother. So you don't know that they're almost in a minority without knowing. And these structures, they are structures that everybody is self-activated. Everybody is self-obedient. Nobody is talking to the other. So it's like when people say movement, when people say it's a revolution, when people say, and it has happened, it's not as if it's okay, it has happened in so many other climes. It happened in Zambia, as I said, and that was a leadership emerged from it. So we are hoping that our case will not be different.
Do you also rule out the possibility of experience and these other ones who have been there over the years?
Whether they will try, they will try. But you see, the problem with the problem with APC and PDP that they have run into is that before now, PDP, APC, when you ask them, they will say that their 8 years is better than 16 years of this. They will try to compare the kind of stealing that took place in PDP time, that their own stealing is not less, or on this people, or PDP will say we stole less, you people are stealing more, as the case may be, as if stealing is something that should be celebrated. But right now, and in their calculations, they never knew that this third option would come. So what they are saying is before it was a war between PDP and APC. But right now, as the governor of it said, in the family there, the problem is no longer between APC and PDP. It is the APC versus the rest of Nigerians, or the obedient people, or PDP versus the rest of Nigerians, the obedient people. So overnight, that's the reality of the situation now. So the most important thing is that let's go into the campaign, and by the time campaign is the Labour has ever come out before, as they have come out now. So, and there's no family where there's no person in Labour, no family.
All right, taking more messages. Ihodaro Moses says P2B will be a game changer in Nigeria. If Nigeria lose great P2B, then Nigeria will embrace doom. Where we don't embrace doom. The country Nigeria is not existing. We should allow P2B to fix it up. Divine says, Oga, please, no verse. We run. We don't need words, okay? Can't get what you're trying to say there, sorry. And then Ikechukwu Prince, Peter is my candidate. Kingsman says, please, if you are very close to P2B, tell him to show more work in the north. I think I will take you on that as we begin to round up on the program. A lot of persons have expressed concern that he does not have strong presence in the north, and they are wondering how is he going to win if he does not have strong presence in the
Yes, I think a long time. The north is
All right, just hold your thought there. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Are you still with us? All right, Honorable, go
I can
ahead.
tell you that I've interacted with a lot of Northerners who are friends. The Northern elite are all going for P2B. The reason is that they are trying to explain to their people that the major problem they have is the problem of the economy, the problem of poverty. And who will address? Who is the person that will manage this economy in such a way and manner that their people will benefit?
Let's see. Look, I see the caller is back again. Hello, good evening. Hello. All right, sorry, we seem to be having a little bit of difficulty getting across the caller.
So for the North, they have started explaining to their people are buying the message. You know, initially what they say, those messages have now been translated into the three main languages. And these messages, the Peter messages are permeating and penetrating. You know, Peter is like the mustard seed. It has grown. It is now, growing and growing and growing and growing overnight. It started with just the good job he did in Anambra State. He had a reference point. And most of the things he said he would do, he has already done, experimented it, and it worked. It's not as if it's something that, to talk is easy. But so there's a reference point as to where he has done this. So as the messages are going, people are saying, okay, you saw the meeting. I covered the meeting he did with Baba Ahmed. He came out and said that he had little information before then about Peter. But having discussed with him, that he feels that this is the person that the country needs to be able to come out of the woods. So, and I want to thank the Independent National Electoral Corps for really giving a long time for this campaign. By the time campaign starts in September, October, November, December, January, February, before the election, you should have been able to, these messages would have gone around and a lot of people will buy into it. I'm expecting that this election will be issue based. It will no longer be the type that will be determined by religion or by ethnicity or by tribe. Because the problems that we have now, nobody will pass through. If you want to, if I ask you now, no matter from what tribe, say travel from Abuja to Kaduna by this time, nobody will risk it. No matter of what tribe, no matter the language you speak, you will not take that risk. So, but before you can. So the country is good. It's good for everybody. If it is bad, it's bad for everybody. If the roads are good, everybody enjoys it. So who do we need? We need somebody that can come and fix the country.
All right, more messages coming in. Abu Chiobi says, I hope Nigerians work hard to vote P2B into power. And then you also have OB12, OB, we should pray for God's protection on Peter Obi. I don't know. There has been this angle. There has been always this angle for some persons about his security. I don't know why people are a little bit worried because as a presidential candidate, I know
the other day that he came to the airport and a lot of youth had to surge and one of the things that was so moving about his interaction with the people was when one of the ladies that wanted to snap and his camera, the phone, and he had to go down to dive it, to even not to allow it to fall, and then also to pick it up. So we showed a lot of concern, a lot of compassion, a lot of meaning that he will not allow the country to fall down. And then even if the country fall, he will bring it up from the woods and take it to. So this is Nigeria is going to enter into a very glorious moment, into a moment that, in fact, it will be like the hope of the African man when we got independence. The whole Africa had hope that a world power, that Africa has gotten it right. A lot of things will. That is the kind of situation that we are going to have in the next after this election, if we're happy to be as a president. The whole African countries will come here to do business. All our systems will start working. The reason is that the citizens will sit up. It is not because if you elect people and allow them to behave the way they want, then they can still go back to their old ways. But if everybody does their work, you vote, you go home into your local government, the money comes in the local government, you'll be ready to know how that money is being spent. Everybody asks questions. People get elected to National Assembly, the money that goes there, people will want to know how is it. Everybody will be accountable. And then once that is done, a lot of things will change. In fact, Nigerians, sometimes people have forgotten. If you see the kind of thing that happened during the NSAS, I never even imagined that a group of Nigerian youths can organize themselves that way. But it happened. And it beat our imagination to the extent that the president was so threatened that he said it was a coup, that it was a coup against him. Because nobody saw it happening. The DSS, the NIN, nobody saw it happen until it happened. So, and that's the kind of thing that will happen during this election. So I would also want to enjoin our brother that called to request the president to ensure that the Independent National Electoral Commission does their job professionally, and let the security agencies, the police, the DSS, let them do their job professionally, so as to make sure that. And the other day they released, they busted or they released, although APC, but I know that list, there's no smoke without fire. That election budget of 6.5 trillion that was prepared, and they mentioned names. Like in my state, I saw two names there. One was a commissioner in government, and the other one is a private lawyer. And they stated the accounts where they will, how they will raise money from government and fund those people's accounts, and then use those people to buy votes. So these are things that the security agencies must be up and doing. And I want to charge Nigerians, please, if you are an official of the central bank, if you are an official of any of the government agencies, and somebody want to use you to raise this money, please remember what has happened to those of them from PDP who had to go to jail, and some people who had to suffer as a result of this. Your own time to go to jail is almost there, if you allow yourself or your office to be used for this purpose. So all those agencies, they mentioned agencies there. They mentioned central bank. All those people should really and the indication of this is that there's this insider sabotage. Somebody must have leaked that information, because most of those things, all those things were not just imaginary things.
All right, we take this message as we begin to wrap up on the program. Gabriel Grana, P2B with an emoji, thumbs up. Kingsman says, personally, I'm not talking about the northern people alone. I'm talking about people that will stand tall. I don't know. It's going to help a lot. I don't know whether he meant somebody to replace Donyo Kukwe. I don't know whether it's what he meant. Okay, OB12OB, I assured you that window of blessings have opened to Nigeria through P2B. If Nigerians miss it, they will suffer for a million years. I pray we don't suffer for a million years. And then Richard Akpan, I am in US, but all my family and friends back home have gotten their PVC and must go out to vote Obi. If not, I will not stop. I will stop sending money to them. Richard, please don't stop sending money to them. They will vote. They will continue to send money to them.
They will definitely vote for Obi.
All right, Derek Imogo. God has finally heard our cries by giving us P2B. Our light has finally come, and we are obedient. All right, the optimism of every Nigerian, or most Nigerians, especially represented by the messages that have been we've read and those who have called, is something that should not be dismissed. I know the promise looks very bright and the promise looks very good, but it takes us to what happened during pre-colonial times, like Honorable said. And Abuchiobi says to the Symphony crew, I want to thank you for the work you are doing. I have been watching your videos for quite some time now. Any input to make Nigeria better will be rewarded. Thank you very much, Abuchiobi, for also recognizing the little contributions we are making here. That's our own part to make Nigeria a better place. We have no other country but Nigeria. Remember what the former president did say, this generation of Nigerians, and indeed the future generations, we have no other country but Nigeria. We must all remain here to salvage it together. And that's how we wrap up on today's edition of the program, Road to 2023 on Symphony. Special thanks to Honorable Jeff Ojinika, former member of House of Reps, who has joined us and have been of great, tremendous value on this program today. Honorable, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, and let's all continue to be obedient.
All right, quite a number of persons who have called and sent in messages. We appreciate you all for your messages, and we continue to read them out as they come in. Thanks to all those behind the camera, behind the scene, who have all contributed to what the program has turned out to be today. On behalf of everyone, I am Victor Irele, thanking you for being part of the show and wishing you a pleasant night rest. Good night.